All right, we are live.
I don't see it yet. Oh, there you go. All right, let's go right into the show, man.
We're here.
Hey, you guys. Wow, a high-stress day to try to get this show going. Wow, this is, I think, the toughest so far of going. So, welcome you guys to episode 9 of StormCrow, Dreamers Talking to Dreamers. We had a few guests not quite understanding the difference between Pacific Standard Time, Central Standard Time, but that's okay. Welcome you guys to another episode. We're almost up to double digits now.
Yep.
Of course, you're watching StormCrow, Dreamers Talking to Dreamers, episode 9. My co-host, Mark Potter. This is, of course, Lola, who had a haircut. Look at that. She's like, no pencil now, no hair. Yep. All right. Then my name is JD Glasscock. This would be the time one day we will have sponsors. This would be the time where I would sponsor and promote your business or product. If you are interested in things along those lines and loving what we're doing. I know we're just out of the gate, but it's going to just keep going and going. And I'm sure it also coincide with me doing my first feature. I'm sure we'll keep it going. It'll blow up from that. But if you're interested in getting in on the ground floor and wanting to sponsor our show, please send a message to our Facebook page to Mark, and Mark will get with you. Who would you like to bring in first, Mark?
Let's bring in Chef Reginald.
Okay, you guys, this is the first. We have a this is the first for Dreamers Talking to Dreamers. We have a celebrity chef, Reginald Dwight, who makes some good vittles. So let's bring him in. Is that Reginald? You got to turn on your video, buddy.
Hello.
Hello, Reginald. Wow, this show is just rocking it, man. I'm telling you, this show is just
There you are.
He is? I don't see him. Oh, there you are. Hey, Reginald. All right, buddy. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Good. We're going to get going. I'm telling you, we're going to get rocking. Okay, let's bring in our other guest, a model actress, Helena-Alexis, who's done a lot of work on a lot of things. We'll start hearing about that and Reginald's cooking cuisine as we get going here. Let's bring in Helena. Hey, Helena, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Okay, guys, we're going to roll right into this. Normally we do some all that kind of stuff. I did that as I walked you guys in. We're going to rock right into it. We're going to start with Red. What current project do you have going on right now in your life that you're extremely passionate about and has got your focus? Reginald?
Okay. My focus right now on my current projects are a lot of food-related involvement in
tell about the show.
The shows, the Chef Reg show that me and my PR man are working on now. It's in development, and it should be up and running very soon.
Well, and you do quite a few guest appearances, right? Cooking your food.
Sir, say it one more time.
You do a lot of guest appearances, cooking your food for different people, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. And then you own your own restaurant, right?
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, I know your main thing is Southern barbecue, right?
No. No.
What is it?
My cuisine is not major in the area of barbecue. My cuisine is in everything. Everything, not just barbecue.
No, yeah, I just noticed I see a lot of wings and stuff along those lines popping up a lot.
Okay.
Pictures of.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, the pictures, yeah, most definitely. Yeah, a lot of the pictures, the ones uploaded, they have a lot of different barbecue ribs and different things of that nature. But my cuisine, my knowledge of many cuisines are cross-cultural. So, you know, it's definitely something that, you know, you definitely want to, you know, try first. And when you taste my food, and that's you, Mr. Glasscock, Mark, and the actors that, when y'all taste my food, you know, you'll forget about barbecue ribs. No, I'm just joking. But anyway, I'm cross culture. I do everything. I do.
Cool.
You know,
so
Hawaiian,
yeah, you add
Hawaiian
different
dishes,
food
Jamaican dishes,
styles
country,
into your
everything.
cooking. All right. Well, Helena, what's your what projects got you going right now that you're working on or recently working on?
So I just
What current project?
No, Reginald, I'm going to talk to Helena right now.
So I just filmed a TV series where I play Jessica Wu, which is the title character, called The Chronicles of Jessica Wu. And it's going to release on Amazon Prime April 2nd. So that's what I'm.
And that's more action, right?
So Jessica Wu, she's actually autistic, and she leads this secret life of being a superhero, which is the action part of it. So it's like Superman, like double life, you know? Clark Kent, Jessica Wu, and then Equation's my superhero name.
So, but autistic, that's interesting. So, if she's extremely autistic, usually it's you know, they have difficulty dealing social interactions or whatever.
She's on the spectrum. She's not like, she's
Fully autistic.
She's fully functional. So, yeah. She just has a hard time making eye contact, but her brain is always going, so she's very, you know, into math, and that's why her name's called Equation. You know? She figures everything out in her head.
Cool. Now, Reginald, what is a project you see in the future coming up different than what you already referenced? Project coming up in the future that you really would like to sink your teeth into and do? What is a aspiration you have to take your food to?
Oh, tell them about Chef Rich Travels the World. One of my projects that I definitely have is Chef Reginald Travels, hoping and seeking to find the best. And I'm telling you what that means. That is me traveling across America and even into different parts of the country, different parts of the world, and different parts of the world, of course, you know, searching for the best food.
So you're doing basically finding other cooks in different parts of the world where you taste their cuisine and all that kind of stuff?
Right. I mean, I do. You know, I'll connect with different chefs in different parts of the world, different parts of America, different states, and we'll cook different kind of cuisines, be videoed, recorded, and of course, with my travel specialists and people that I travel with, we will elaborate on different dishes, and you know, kind of like a show that Chef Anthony Bourdain had, actually. You know, and all due respect to him, most definitely. You know.
Yeah, although he didn't cook himself during those shows. He would usually just try different foods and kind of talk about them and stuff like that.
Right. A lot of what he did. You know, I mean, he talked a lot about and educated people on the different cuisines and culture and parts and places that people were not aware of.
Yeah, although some of the stuff he ate, I would never eat, man. He ate some fun.
Oh my God. No, I couldn't. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't eat some of that stuff either. But then a lot of
you know, I think one time he went to it showed him in, like, I don't know where it was, Bangkok or something like that, and he was eating like crickets or something like that. I'm like, no, that's one thing I'll be like skipping on the.
Right.
Okay, now, like Helena, same question to you. What is away from the project you already mentioned? What is something in the future that you'd really like to tackle, or a goal that you'd really like to complete?
I would like to be a superhero, like more. Like I would hope that this equation.
You mean like DC or Marvel or something?
Yeah, exactly. So Chronicles of Jessica Wu, yeah, that's cool. But hopefully, maybe Equation can branch off and like get, bought out by Marvel, and we can just like work on Equation a lot more. Because to have an autistic Black superhero is like unheard of, and I think that would bring a lot of awareness not only to autism but just to like having more Black superheroes, because Black Panther did so well, and that was important.
Yeah, I mean, Black Panther was long deserving that movie broke a lot of boundaries and showed the ridiculousness of Hollywood, that for some reason they were stuck back in like centennial times of thinking like having a Black lead of a superhero movie wouldn't sell, which I think is like utterly ridiculous. If it's good writing, good acting, it'll sell, yeah, man. Doesn't matter where, none of that crap matters, man. I mean, like
number 3 like most selling movie of all time.
Yeah, I mean, it's just Hollywood has always been really slow.
Yeah.
For the longest time. Yeah, they just don't want to change because it's run by a bunch of old cocky white guys, a lot of them Jewish, that are like, this is how it is.
Right.
And it's funny because it's like same thing with Forever. They were saying you cannot make a rated R superhero film.
Yeah.
And then you have The Watchmen, which didn't do tons of money, but was critically raved. Everybody loved it, thought it was great writing, great acting, all that stuff. Then because of Watchmen, you had Deadpool, and it was rated R, and it blew up and made money. Then you had Logan, which was rated R, and made a ton of money. So they're way behind. They're way slow because they like their formulas.
Right.
And this goes for Reginald too, in Hollywood, because what you're trying to do is still entertainment business. That's what you're trying to do, entertainment business. It's just from a cooking standpoint for Reginald than actually creating a film. But it's the same thing, man. People are so stuck in their little pigeonholes of form that it takes a while for them to catch on to innovative things. Because it basically usually takes someone going out on a limb and doing it and then finding success to all of a sudden then Hollywood will bandwagon. But awesome. Now, Reginald, so where most people in restaurant business want to just keep opening up more restaurants, your goal is to just focus on your one restaurant, but then it's more of an entertainment field, right?
Well, actually,
like doing your shows and stuff like that.
Right. My goal is to continue on working in the restaurant, in the many restaurants that I deal with, two major ones of which, and also consulting is the side part of me, working away from the restaurant, which of course, breaks the monotony of everyday working in a restaurant.
How helping their, you mean like designing menus?
Well, designing menus, doing a lot of catering, things of that nature too. But
it seems like your passion though is to go into the cook talk show kind of field.
Right. Well, innovation and entertaining is always something that I've been definitely fond of. For one thing is I do a lot of chef work for people in the restaurant. Then outside the restaurant, I do catering, and then of course I do entertainers as well. I cook with a lot of celebrity entertainers, and I have done it in the past. I've done it currently, and I do it also tomorrow and in the future to come. A lot of entertainers, if I mention their names, you would know.
Yeah.
Vanilla Ice being one of them. Biz Marquee.
No, I'm happy for you, man. And I'm always happy for anybody finding success in their chosen field, man. The goal of everybody in life is to basically find out what they love to do and get to the point where they can make a living at it. That is the goal of any whether it be me as a filmmaker or Helena as an actress or you as a chef or Mark is also in the film industry and has goals and aspirations in those realms. I think true contentment comes when you have gotten to that point and then you've gotten to a point where you can actually make a living at it, whether it's a great living or a smaller living. If you're doing what you love for a living,
yeah,
that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I mean, making a living in what I do, I mean, I love it. And I never stop loving it.
That's awesome, beautiful, you guys. So what I'm going to do is we're going to take a little 5-minute. Reg, your video went out, so maybe check your phone. You probably got a message. So we're going to go on a 5-minute break, guys. So stay connected, but we're going to go on a 5-minute break. When we get back, we're going to do the roundtable thing where we're going to bring up stuff about life. And then we're all going to talk about it and our various opinions on it. And stuff like that. I think Mark has a good question he's going to pose you guys as well. But I'll give you, normally I don't do this, but I'll give you the first question. So think about it on the 5-minute break. I'm going to ask you to tell me what is the best film you've seen in the last 2 years and why, okay? So we're going to take a 5-minute break. We'll come back. That'll be the first thing you answer, and then we'll go from there on the rest of the show.
All right.
All right, I'll see you back in 5, you guys.
All right.
Okay. Are you live again, Mark?
Yes.
Okay, guys, we're going to start with Helena this time. So I gave you the question before the break. So give me your answer on what's the best film you've seen in the last 2 years and why.
Well, obviously Black Panther, because
That has been a choice now. What, 3 times, Mark?
second time.
3 out of 9 shows that has been an answer from someone.
Like, it doesn't matter. That's my answer for everything. The fact that we, like, Hollywood finally had an all-black superhero film was inspiring and amazing to see. And for the younger generation, that they can have like a superhero that looks like them to look up to. And
have you seen Black Panther, Reginald?
Yes.
Black Panther.
Did
Yes,
you like it? Did you like it?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
You know what? It's
great, especially the way they did Killmonger.
You would say that.
Yeah, the way they developed the villain, I thought was brilliant. Killmonger actually like understandable anger and resentment.
Right, most definitely.
And so you actually had empathy for him, you know what I mean? Which was great. The only problem there was a little glitch in that movie though that I had an issue with, where they find Black Panther with the gorilla guy, I forget his name, and he's packed in snow. And the mom says, "Why is he packed in snow?" And then 2 seconds later, she's like, "I'm gonna cast a spell to revive him." And someone starts digging him out. She's like, "No, he needs to be packed in snow for me to do this spell." And I was like, "Wait a minute! You just said like you didn't know why it was packed in snow. Now all of a sudden the packed in snow is integral. So you're gonna cast?" I'm like, man, that was a faux pas of writing, or that they maybe 2 different versions of, or something like that. And then in the end, they had to edit it together, and it wasn't meant to be edited together, or something like that. I was just like, "Whoa, man, that just didn't make sense at all." But that's from a writer's standpoint. I'm a writer, so it's like, and a filmmaker, so I was like going, that had to have been, they did 2 different versions story-wise, and then ended up meshing the 2 that were opposite of each other.
Right.
But the story was great. I don't know, Alexis, do you remember the scene I'm talking about? I mean, Helena?
Vaguely. Like.
Yeah, it's when Black Panther gets hurt. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did.
I didn't hear that glitch. Like, I was just so into the movie that was right over my head.
Yeah, see, that's the problem with being a filmmaker is I literally dissect the film from shots to writing to acting to everything as I watch the film. So I still get enjoyments out of films, but I can't turn that aspect off. I'm always, whether it be a great shot and I'm learning from it, or great lighting and I'm learning from it, or things that I'm like, whoa, what was that?
Perspective.
Yeah. It's kind of like if you're a guitarist and you listen to a song, you always immediately start dissecting the guitar in the song.
Oh, yeah. No, I understand what you're saying,
Yeah. But, okay, so Reginald, what is the best film you've seen in the last 2 years and why?
The best, well, one of the best films that I've seen, Black Panther, I would say, is one of them. I mean, I actually, I mean, it's kind of crazy that the word Black Panther came out before I even said what I did about what you just asked me. What was the movie that you seen? She said that. So, yeah, Black Panther.
Like I said, out of, this is our 9th show. Out of 9 shows, 3 times that's been an answer. Now 4 times.
Say it again.
So now 4 out of this is our 9th show. Our 9th show of talking, Dreamers Talking to Dreamers. And I asked that question of every guest that has been on the show. And 4 times now, including you 2, Black Panther was the answer for them. And then like 3 other times or 2 other times, it was the Avengers.
Infinity War.
Right, yeah. I mean, hey, the Avengers are nice.
Marvel is hitting it, I guess.
Right, hey, Avengers are great.
Yeah. That was the answer. 2 or 3 other times, people was at the new Avengers. What is that? Infinity War. There you go. Yeah, but I agree with you. I think Black Panther is did a lot of things that needed to happen for a long time, and I'm happy that they did it. I'm happy that it was such a huge success. I'm also happy with that lead actor because I think it's going to provide him a lot more opportunities, and he's a great.
Totally.
What's his name that played Killmonger? He'd already had opportunities. He was on Creed.
Michael B. Jordan, say it.
Yeah, Michael B.
You know what I mean?
Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, he'd already had it. He was on NBA 2K18. He'd already had opportunities, granted, but that lead actor, I think this is his big opportunity that he's had. The Black Panther in the Avengers ones, and then the movie now. So,
Yeah.
because that you know, besides Robert Downey Jr. and a few of them, most of them were not huge when they got their opportunities with Marvel, and now they're all like Chris Hemsworth is huge and has gone on to, because of Marvel, gone on and been the lead in a bunch of huge films. And then several other actors. The one lady that plays Wonder Woman, she was already in the Fast and Furious, but now she's blowing up like big time. But it's good to see people find success, man. It is. Okay, so we're gonna go now a little more hard hitting. Mark, what was your question you had for our guest?
What is your thoughts on the building of a wall in the government shutdown, and how has it affected you, if it has?
Okay, so we'll start with Reginald first.
Well, you know, my thoughts on the building of a wall and the government shutdown. First of all, I'm gonna say this with real careful speaking. I am definitely all about the law and doing things right. I'm also in favor of protecting our borders and people coming over to America legally. You know, some of my, a lot of my best friends are Spanish, Mexican. You know, I have no problem with no one Mexican, Spanish, or anything at all. Period.
Yeah, personally, I don't think it's. If people try to make it a racial thing, I don't think it has anything to do with racial. If you had Canadians coming over illegally in the thousands, you would see a wall up north. I mean, you know what I mean? I don't think it has anything to do with.
I would.
Race.
I would. You know, if people wanted to come to America, the land of opportunity, home of the free, riches, prosperity. You know, I welcome them. At the same time, doing things right is always best.
Yeah, I think he was. I think he was more, instead of the wall, I think he was more talking about the government shutdown and using the wall. Trump using the wall as an excuse to shut the government down.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, I don't think much on the border, but
look. I mean, as far as the wall, look. I mean, it needs to be built. It's gonna get built. So, but what I do want to say is, the government shutdown is a big, major problem. People not getting paid, food stamps getting cut off, and that's a real major issue with the government right now, and people being affected by it. So.
Well, yeah, it's just the reality of it, because like a lot of these people have houses, have this, have that, bills, stuff like that, and utilities and mortgage lenders don't give a crap whether you have a federal job. They don't give a crap whether they just care that you're not paying them.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's affected a lot of people. We talked about this on one other show, like 2 shows ago, but I didn't think we'd bring it up again because the simple fact is it would be over by now. But it's still going. And so, Helena, what is your thoughts on this?
I don't follow politics, so I don't know. I only know that Trump wants to build a wall, but I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, it's not even about the wall. He was just talking about the government shutdown, I think is what he was talking about. That. What do you think about the government shutting down?
I have no idea what that's about, so I can't answer that.
No? Okay. Well, we'll do a different question, okay? So what do you think? Do you think we support enough of our public education?
To be honest, I have no idea. I'm Canadian, so like I don't follow American anything.
Oh, I thought you lived here.
I am here, but I am Canadian, so I don't follow American anything. So I have no idea what's going on. But I work in the United States on a working visa, but I don't know anything about what.
I got you. I didn't know that about you. I didn't know you were Canadian.
Facts, yes. So ask me about Trudeau. We just legalized marijuana. That's a fact. But besides anything else political about the United States.
Oh, did they? Did Canada just legalize marijuana?
Well, I mean, everybody's happy. I don't smoke marijuana, but everyone's happy. So if you want to cross the border and go ahead.
No, I was just curious. They had a medical, I think, legalization for a couple decades now, or at least over a decade.
Yeah, legal medically, but now it's just recreational.
Well, I mean, it should be. I mean, I don't smoke weed anymore. I did for a large part of my life. But to me, it seems hypocritical that you make alcohol and cigarettes legal, but try to say pot's illegal. I think that more had to do with their ability. They could not monopolize the money making on the weed. Anybody can grow it. I think that had more with the legalization or illegalization of it.
Right.
But so here, let's see. What is the film you would love to see get made that hasn't been made? Like an idea or thought. Reginald.
Oh man, I'm always in a
documentary. It could be anything, man. It doesn't matter. Any idea you think you haven't seen, you would love to see something made on it.
I guess I'd say some kind of kitchen movie. Being that I'm a chef, you can always
the main protagonist is a chef, and then it revolves around that world.
Right. I mean, they can. You can always perfect more kitchen culinary movies. I don't think that some of the movies that have been made were really, really fully depicted. But I do know that, and I'm actually glad you said that, because I do desire to have a movie done on blood, sweat, and tears. And I'm gonna give you a name: Blood, Sweat, and Tears, because I spend a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in kitchens doing what I do. And if my movie is depicted the right way, which it will be, it'll be right. It'll be good.
Believe me, I spent a large part of my life being an artist, working in restaurants. So I certainly understand the work, especially from a back of the house standpoint, that goes into it. There's definitely both. There's a stress that goes with front of the house and dealing with guests, and then a different stress that house has to go through with trying to cook that much food that quickly and make it good. So, Helena, same thing with you. What film you think hasn't been made you would like to see made?
Well, actually, a friend of mine is hoping to create this travel show, and I really hope it gets made, where she reads these books and then goes to where the book was taking place, like let's say Ireland or something, and she goes to the author and they show her around to all the locations, and she interviews them on things in the book, and then it's like a travel show / book.
So combine it with a novel that she reads by a author that's still alive,
right?
And then go to the location of the author and then do a tour. So combining those things.
Yeah. And book more like you're there. It's such a great idea. So that I hope gets made.
Well, and you would have the built-in fan base of the author.
And the book.
Because obviously if I was producing a show like that, I would let her only read books of authors that had giant fan bases, because then
True.
Then you're bringing those people into that.
That's true. Or you could just be interested in the travel aspect, like, oh, they're going to be doing a tour of, like, you know, France. Like, I would just love to explore that. So I don't care what the book is, because I don't read novels.
Well, from a funding standpoint, you could get some of those publishers to fund some of it if you were using it like that. So,
yeah.
Yeah, you gotta, when you're making a film or anything, you guys, you gotta think at it from artistic, creative, beautiful, to also practical and how you make it happen.
Yeah.
So, like, if you were doing a show like that, you got to think of like having a great hostess, have authors, have the money to be able to go to those places. But then you'd be going, okay, from how can I get funding for that? Part of the way I could get funding would go to publishers and have them be a part of it, and then they most likely push those bigger, either bigger or new coming authors that they have money in, and then then you can make those things happen. So that's a lot of times when I'm talking to younger filmmakers, that's the part they don't quite get. There's got to be a marketing strategy and a thing that you already know how you're going to appeal to people, and also a producing side of it, of how to make it interesting and stuff to investment and all that kind of stuff.
True. And she's an actress, so she would be the host. She doesn't have to look for a host. She's a great host. So, yeah, fingers crossed that she gets what she's looking for.
Okay, you guys, I've loved having you, loved conversing with you. What I'm going to do it what I always do before we call it a night is I'm going to have you give advice to your younger self if they aspire to be you. So, like Reginald, I want you to give advice as if you were talking to a young chef just starting out who wanted to be a great chef. So we'll start with you, Reginald.
Starting out, inspiration.
What would you be saying to a young chef just starting out that wanted to really make it as a chef?
What I would be saying is I would be telling them to continue to listen through educating themselves at the many different places they work. Also culinary training, formal training is great, but most importantly, educate yourself. Education. Read, and listen, and watch, and learn.
And I'm assuming it's a lot like art, that you have to also be willing to experiment and be creative.
Right. I mean, you have to be able to, again, listen, learn, try the different many dishes. And one thing that's always great in culinary is when you take trips across the different countries like Italy, Germany, Mexico. Those are some of the greatest adventures in culinary, exploring.
You're seeing it where it's like that, as opposed to like if you walked in a German restaurant here, it's not the same thing as if you go to Germany and you eat a bunch of the food that's in Germany. I hear you. Okay, so Helena, what is your advice to a young you trying to be a great actress?
I would tell her that you're going to take all the right steps. You're going to explore all aspects of the business, behind the scenes, doing hair, makeup, styling, photography, working as an agent, but continue to explore and learn and ask questions and have mentors, because the mentors, yes, education, of course, but mentors have a lot of information and can educate you really well. Just remember to always be around people that are higher than you and that'll teach you some things, and that there's so much time. Like, don't be in a rush. Like, it'll come when it's supposed to come, divine timing, and that everything happens when it's supposed to happen. And just continue to be hungry for it. So if you keep taking the steps because you want it, you'll get there. Whether it's, going in this direction, but still in the industry, you're still learning.
So putting work in and being open.
Being open to everything, like behind the scenes, in front of the camera. Like, don't just focus on actor, like focus on film, or, filmmaking, or the directing, or like being a helper with your agent, discover everything about the business, because that'll expand your mind. So when you are in front of the camera, you know what they're thinking behind the camera and how this works and that works. You're just so like well-rounded.
No, I mean, and I agree with you. I mean, I started off 29 years ago as a slam poet. When I was a slam poet, I wasn't thinking filmmaker. Then I went into bands, front singer songwriter for like 12 years in band. But I didn't see that when I was a poet. When I was in a band, I didn't see film.
Yeah.
But then I found film.
Yeah.
And then all the tools I had learned doing the other things.
Right. It all
made it so even my first short film won awards. Because I saw, what is it? Probably 16, 17 years of writing as a poet, singer, songwriter. And then, so you're right. You could just following the path, and it could lead places you don't even envision. But in the meantime, you're learning all sorts of tools and skill sets that you're going to be able to utilize wherever it leads to.
Totally. So that's advice. Yeah. Don't think it's off course by trying something else. Like, it's actually on course.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, my God, it's been amazing, Reginald, and then Helena. Give Mark a day or two, and what he'll do is he'll edit this and put links to how to people to find you. If they want to support you or contact you or whatever links you sent him, he'll put into it, and then that way they can go and check out. Like with Reginald, they can go check out if you're cooking or whatever you got going on. Helena, they can go check out that film you just did. So I appreciate it, you guys. Lola, come here. Lola. Lola, in the bag. Come on, we can't say goodbye without Lola. Come on, Lola.
Lose your dog,
huh? Okay, guys. There's Lola.
Lola.
Hello, Lola.
Lola, right?
She's got a haircut though, man. All her hair's gone, so she looks like a little pencil.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, all right, guys.
Hey, Mr.
I want to thank our guests, Reginald Dwight, Helena-Alexis. You're going to give Mark a couple days. He'll put some way to connect to them if you love what you heard and you want to follow what they do. And then, as always, thanks to Mark Potter, my co-host. Without this, we couldn't get it going. And then again, Lola Bell. You guys, again, this is episode 9 of StormCrow, Dreamers Talking to Dreamers.
You know what I mean?
Keep dreaming.
Peace.